Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and today I'm coming at you with a little news about Bungie, another major game company seeing tons of layoffs. And I've got the news right here. This is actually the press release from the CEO, Pete Parsons, 14 hours ago. So I was at work when this released. But the new path for Bungie. I'm just going to go ahead and read this. We're going to jump right in. This morning I'm sharing with all of you some of the most difficult changes we've ever had to make as a studio. Due to rising costs of development and industry shifts as well as enduring economic conditions, it has become clear that we need to make substantial changes to our cost structure and focus development efforts entirely on Destiny and Marathon. This means beginning today, 220 of our roles will be eliminated, representing roughly 17% of our studio workforce. These actions will affect every level of the company, including most of our executive and senior leader roles. Today is a difficult and painful day, especially for our departing colleagues, all of which have made important, valuable contributions to Bungie. Our goal is to support them with the utmost care and respect. For everyone affected by this job reduction, we will be offering a generous exit package including severance, bonus, and health coverage. I realize all of this is hard news, especially following the success we have seen with the final shape, but as we've navigated the broader economic realities over the last year, and after exhausting all other mitigation options, this has become a necessary decision to refocus our studio and our business with more realistic goals and variable finances. We are committing to two other major changes today that we believe will support our focus, leverage Sony's strengths, and create new opportunities for Bungie talent. First, we are deepening our integration with Sony Interactive Entertainment, that's SIE, right? No, not in America, just in general. Okay. Working to integrate 155 of our roles, roughly 12%, into SIE over the next few quarters. SIE has worked tirelessly with us to identify roles for as many of our people as possible, enabling us together to save a great deal of talent that would otherwise have been affected by the reduction in force. Second, we are working with PlayStation Studios leadership to spin out one of our incubation projects, an action game set in a brand new science fantasy universe. Oh, Jesus. To form a new studio within PlayStation Studios to continue its promising development. This will be a time of tremendous change for our studio. Let's unpack what we've endured in this position. It's important to understand what we got here. For over 5 This is mostly platitudes, I think, in the rest of here. Let's see. For over 5 years, it's been our goal to ship games in 3 enduring global franchises. To realize that ambition, we set up several incubation projects, each seated with senior development leaders from our existing teams. We eventually realized that this model stretched our talent too thin too quickly. It also forced our studio to support structures to scale to a larger level than we could realistically support, given our two primary products is development, Destiny and Marathon. Additionally, in 2023, our rapid expansion ran headlong into a broad economic slowdown, a sharp downturn in games industry, our quality missed with Destiny 2 Lightfall, and the need to give both the final shape and Marathon the time needed to ensure both projects deliver at quality our players expect and deserve. We were severely ambitious, our financial safety margins were subsequently exceeded, and we began running in the red. I'm sorry, I almost said in the end. After this new trajectory became clear, we knew we had to change our course and speed. We did everything we could to avoid today's outcome, even with exhausting efforts undertaken across our leadership and production teams to resolve our financial challenges. These steps were simply not. So I'm going to stop right there. When they say we did everything we could to avoid today's outcome, well, did you cut your pay by 50%? The way Nintendo did? I think it was Iwata did at Nintendo. Did you do that? Did you cut your pay by 30% the way Reggie and other executives at Nintendo did in order to ensure that their devs and their staff could stay on board and maintain salaries? No, I don't think you did, because Grums posted this. This is where I get most of my game news about certain industries, mostly Blizzard news, and whatever Alyssa Mercante is up to. Because Mark Kern, as he is known colloquially on X, is Grums. He's a former game designer and I think lead dev for Blizzard. He did Diablo 2, for those who don't know. But we've got this Pirate Nation. And I don't know if this is a quote of somebody else, or if they're quoting themselves. But they say CEO Pete Parsons invited some of their employees to his new cars 2 days before. No, yeah, so this is a quote tweet. But it doesn't show who's the original person is that made this post. You did this. You chose this. I'm already listed as do not work with, and I don't care anymore. You lied to my face, straight to it. You also invited me to come see your new cars 2 days before you laid me off. 2 effing days. Leave now. So Pete Parsons, the person who authored the new path for Bungie notice and current CEO of Bungie and Bungie Love, which is the Bungie Foundation to help children kind of thing. It's I believe, a nonprofit. Apparently invited a bunch of employees over to look at his new cars before firing them all, which is, like I said, not doing everything you can to prevent this from happening. When Nintendo was in dire straits, their executives took pay cuts and diverted their enormous amounts of funds that they receive back to the employees so they could stay on and continue working. This is a trait that you will never see in American industries because most American CEOs like the idea of making millions and millions of dollars a year. I don't know what they spend this money on. I guess new cars in Pete's case. But they're it's a whole new level of greedy, and it destroys game companies left and right. We've seen nothing but massive layoffs in the game industry this year. A lot of it has to do with Sweet Baby Inc. and their consulting, because it seems every game they consult on flops harder than a day-old pancake, and they just move on to the next game while leaving a wake of layoffs and destruction behind them. They don't even give a shit about games. You can tell that Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't care about games, and the way Pete Parsons doesn't care about his employees. And it's crazy that this is happening because the writing was on the wall, so they had to have known. And they said they tried to divert 12%. They're diverting 12%, and they laid off 17%. So you're looking at roughly 30% of Bungie gone, right? With the 17% being laid off and another 12% being diverted to the new studio at PlayStation or Sony Entertainment. That's it. That's 29%, but we're just going to round up for good whole number purposes. 30% of Bungie's now gone. Just gone. The company doesn't exist anymore. They're getting sent over to PlayStation to deal with this guy, Herman Hulst. Now, this is a crazy rumor. PlayStation CEO Herman Hulst is reportedly the head of Bungie now. This is I think the oldest post I could find was from by MBG, which I think is a new gaming website. I think I've read for them before. I think they were the ones that had the release for Bioshock 4, the screenshot. But I can't find anything from Bungie, from Sony, from Mr. Hulst himself to corroborate this story. It very well could be true, but as of right now, I'm taking this with a shot of penicillin and a spoonful of salt, because as it stands, this is just a internet rumor right now. Nobody's actually linked to him saying that he's accepted the job, to any press releases, to any executives higher up in Sony saying that this is happening. Obviously, Pete was still in charge as of 14 hours ago. Now, this post is what? How old? About the same. 2 p.m. So this is about 10 hours old. So I guess in that 4 hours something could have happened. But it seems highly unlikely for a change that big to happen that quick. Now, they could be conflating the fact that 12% of Bungie is moving over to PlayStation, and PlayStation is starting a new, what they say, a new development studio with 12% of Bungie. People might be conflating that news to him being the CEO of Bungie now. But I think Pete's probably still in charge right now. You know, I don't think anyone that just bought several new cars and bragged about them to their employees that they're firing is going anywhere in the immediate future. But with 30% of Bungie gone, you know, Sony might just be like, well, you haven't really put out. If Destiny doesn't pick up, we're axing Bungie entirely and replacing it with this new studio. In which case, that guy would be the de facto CEO of what was Bungie. But like I said, as it stands right now, this is just wild speculation and internet rumor. We don't have anything to corroborate that. It's just crazy that Bungie is losing 30% of its staff to layoffs and transfers. And it seemed like, you know, I don't know how well Marathon's doing. I don't really follow Bungie anymore. I haven't given a crap about Bungie since probably Halo 3. So years upon years, Bungie hasn't even been on my radar. I thought Destiny was kind of boring, and I tried to get into Destiny 2. I think I put in about 15 hours in Destiny 2 and was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling this game. Had the same problem that I had with Destiny 1. It just didn't capture my attention. I think I put in more game time into Defiant, I think it's called. It was the one that was tied to that TV show. I think it was Defiant. Like, that seemed like that was free to play, and it had more going on for it than what Destiny felt like it had going on, or Destiny 2 had going on in the beginning. I'm sure Destiny 2's a great game now, because that seems to be the new, you know, standard model for AAA games. Put out a massive game that sucks when it comes out, and then a year later, after constant updates and new releases of DLC and patches, the game is what we promised it would be a year ago. Happened to Cyberpunk, happened to No Man's Sky. Well, No Man's Sky took 2 or 3 years, but they finally got to where they promised. I don't doubt it that if the 1 year anniversary of Starfield, people are like talking about the game's finally good now, because let's be real, Starfield was boring as hell. Like, I liked the idea and the premise, and I super liked the ship customization. Like, I think I spent about 30 hours of the 100 hours of that playing that game building ships, and I'd say 20 of it was trying to get an accurate reproduction of the Ebon Hawk from Knights of the Old Republic 2, because I just saw the potential to possibly make it, and, you know, I basically made it. I almost got the exact same layout as the inside of the ship from Coder 2 into Starfield, but I'm rambling and digressing now. My point is, Bungie is in dire straits. They, again, repeating myself, but laid off 17%, transferred 12%. You're looking at about 30% of the company is just gone, never to return probably. And the real sad part is there's a ton of posts on X of developers just being like, yeah, this is how I found out I was fired today on X, when they posted this link to the new path. They didn't even email everybody. They literally posted a direct link on their website and in the under news, not even under press releases, just under the regular news tab. So like, they have press releases for the super important stuff. They have a whole section for it on Bungie.net, and they just decided to put it as a regular news story. Like, how many of the employees are going to check the news stories for information when the press release is where super important information is supposed to be released? Apparently not a lot of them. From what I've seen, about 100 of the 220 people that were laid off, at least, were like, yeah, we found out through X. We found out through Elon Musk platform in this stupid update from the Bungie X account than we did from the actual, like, we didn't hear it from Pete. We didn't get any email. We didn't get any direct contact. A post online through a third-party site was how they found. And that's definitely not a good sign for them. It's definitely not a good way to do business. And I don't know. Is this the death rattle of the AAA gaming industry? Is this like one of the final nails in the coffin? How many more nails before the AAA industry is just, ready to be buried? Because lately, AA games have been making more money, holding bigger audiences. Like, how many of you knew of Larian Studios before Baldur's Gate 3? Like, 20% of the people maybe that played Baldur's Gate 3 went there because they knew of Larian Studios. I didn't. I'd heard of the games they'd made, but I never knew the name of the studio. AA studios are, where it stands right now, better than most AAA studios. And with Ubisoft almost guaranteed to drop 2 flops this year, we're just really going to have to see what happens with these AAA studios, because it doesn't seem like 2024 is the year for gaming industry. It's really not for the big boys at least. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it right there. I don't have much else to say about it. Bungie firing a bunch of people, transferring a bunch of more. Giant, massive rumor about, Herman Hulst becoming the new CEO, which again, I don't believe. But we'll see. Only time will tell. Maybe we'll find out the official news tomorrow and I'll be proven wrong. Maybe they'll release the thing saying, no, this is just a rumor. Stop posting shit online without actual proof or evidence or links or receipts. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Belmont out.